as we continue to study through this book. And Dan was just talking to me about sometimes witnessing to people. You go out of there, and sometimes the person you get saved, and like, what did I even tell them? It's like trying to remember, because God gives you sometimes in that hour what to say, and sometimes that'll happen while we're preaching. And it's like, this wasn't my notes, but say something. And sometimes I have to go back and watch the sermons online so I can figure out, what did I exactly tell the church? Oh, okay, that's what I told them. Okay, but what's that? We're in the King James, yes. Proverbs 17, starting in verse 9. Proverbs 17, 9, and I'm not sure how far I'll get. I'll read down through 16. Bible says, "He that covereth a transgression seeketh love, but he that repeateth the matter separateth very friends. A reproof entereth more into a wise man than 100 stripes into a fool. An evil man seeketh only rebellion, therefore a cruel messenger shall be sent against him. Let a bear robbed of her whelps meet a man, rather than a fool in his folly. Whoso rewardeth evil for good, evil shall not depart from his house. The beginning of strife is as when one letteth out water. Therefore leave off contention before it be meddled with. He that justifieth the wicked, and he that condemneth the just, even they both are abomination to the Lord. Wherefore is there a price in the hand of a fool to get wisdom, seeing he hath no heart to it." And we could go on, but I want to look here at this idea, a concept that wise people understand. Wise people understand that there are such things as package deals. If you get this, you have to get this. It's like, well, can't I have a number one without the fries? No, it comes with the fries. Now, at McDonald's, you could say, hey, I don't want the fries, I'll just pay extra for it without getting them. But in life, there are certain things that if you choose this, you are going to get what comes with it, okay? Some people say, hey, you know what, I wanted a house. I didn't want to have a mortgage and a rent payment or taxes. Like, well, that comes with it, okay? I wanted a job. I didn't want to have to work. I just wanted the paycheck. Well, that work has to come with that, okay? I wanted a family. I didn't want to have to watch them all day. These come together, okay? And there's some really good things that come together, okay? Salvation. You get forgiveness of sins, and you become the child of the King, and you have a home in heaven forever, okay? That's an awesome package deal, okay? But there are other things that, if you choose a certain path, there are things you are always, always, always going to get that you're always going to find on it. It's not, well, usually, but there's a chance that, no, you're always going to get it, okay? Water always goes downhill. If you dump it over, it will spill, okay? And this set of verses here gives several different decisions or mindsets that people have and what comes of it. Look at this first verse here, verse 9. There's two different, almost opposite package deals here. He that covereth a transgression seeketh love. Okay? If you're trying to find love, you forgive it, you cover a transgression. You say, hey, you know what? And this isn't, some people hear covering a transgression, they think Watergate, cover up, right? This is not really what covering a transgression means, okay? It's, oh, you've got a parking ticket, I'll cover it. Okay, what does that expression mean? I'm going to pay for this, okay? If there's a transgression against you, hey, I'm going to cover this. I'm not going to bring this up, okay? We've got Thanksgiving coming up. Is the family reunion, are you going to serve up dishes of hey, by the way, let's talk about what you did this year. Is that the dish that you're going to serve? Or you say, hey, I want to have love. If I cover transgression, I'm going to be getting this love. Now, it doesn't necessarily say that it's always reciprocal. Okay? Sometimes they don't give you the love back when you cover the transgressions. What would be the biggest example of that ever? Of someone covering transgressions, and yet the people who did the transgressions did not reciprocate that love. Someone who was seeking love by covering transgressions, and then people didn't love him back for it. Okay, taking advantage of that? Who would be the one who understands the most when he's forgiven people's sins, but yet they don't love him anyway? Jesus. Yes. So he understands this concept of this, and these things go together. Okay, if you want to find love, okay, if you want to find family love, if you've got a schisms in your families, okay, and I'm pretty sure we all have schisms somewhere in our families. Some close, some further, some big, some smaller. Okay? Thanksgiving, Christmas, these are great times to patch up those schisms. Okay? If you're wanting to seek love, you have to cover the transgressions. Okay? Those things that they did that really angered you this year. Those don't come up. Those aren't on the table for Thanksgiving, okay?
So, basically, are you saying forgive no matter what?
Yeah. If you want love, if that's what you're wanting, if you're wanting love, now, you have to choose to give some other things up that's not necessarily listed here, okay? Sometimes you're like, hey, I need them to know that I was right and they were wrong. Well, if you're seeking love, you've got to give up that desire. Now, here in the same verse here, it gives the reverse of this, okay? It says, but he that repeateth a matter separateth very friends, okay? If you want a schism in your family, come back, start bringing up things from the past, okay? Surefire way to separate friends. Let's just bring us all up, okay? Our flesh is really good at doing that. And when there's stress or there's family, there's tension, Satan is right there with a long list of things to bring up that, oh, by the way, you remember when they did this, and remember when they did this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And it'll give you all these great replies that you can give to them, okay? Because what does Satan want to do to your friendships and your relationships and your families and your friends? He wants to separate very friends, okay? Satan would love to split this whole church tonight, okay? You know, there's a spiritual warfare going on every day. But, you know, especially every time we gather together, Satan is actively trying to tear apart this church, okay? It would take less than 5 minutes if the Holy Spirit didn't just like, you know what, I'm gonna take a coffee break, see you guys, and left the church in 5 minutes without the power of the Holy Spirit. As much as Satan is trying to attack us to get us to attack each other, and would bring up every offense that any of us have ever done to any of the rest of us, okay? 5 minutes, we'd be out the door, swinging fists.
So I'm just kind of applicable to my life. So we have to bear the infirmity, so we might just have to keep our mouth shut, just no matter how horrible what you've been delivered from others. Is that what you've been saying?
Now there's other commandments where Jesus says, love thy neighbor. Here, Solomon is just saying, hey, I know it's not fair. I know it's not fun. But if you want love from them, here's how you get it. You cover it. You take care of it. You don't bring it up, okay? If you want to separate friendships, bring up that old stuff, okay? And then the moral question of us is, well, which should we do? He just says this is what's going to happen. This is the package deal. If you're covering it, you're seeking love. If you're bringing it up, you're separating friendships. Okay? Now, when they bring it up, what do you do? I mean, I guess you can cover it. I'm not sure. But this is where we need the Holy Spirit to guide us. You know, when you go in there, is it, okay, is this my brother I'm supposed to be loving? Or is this my enemy I'm supposed to be loving? Is this my neighbor I'm supposed to be loving? Is there any category that they could fall in that doesn't mean one of those? That it's like, hey, you're not my neighbor or my brother or my enemy. You're just kind of like a lukewarm. Yes, I cannot, yeah. Yeah. And when you bring stuff up, it separates friendships. It doesn't necessarily say whose friendships are going to be separated. You might be targeting that friendship, and this friendship breaks. Okay? You might be bringing it up to try to get them, and a much more dear friendship is wounded because you brought that up. A lot of times if we're trying to throw something out, and in an anger we throw things out, the people who get hit with it are rarely ever the ones that we try to target. The collateral damage from spewing anger is far worse than the direct attack. And we just have to be careful of that. I mean, and this time of year, family reunions, church reunions, potlucks, activities, caroling, choir practice, what are other things we could do? Bible studies. I mean, there's plenty of times that things could come up, and we've just got to decide: are we seeking love? Am I seeking love today? And is this something I need to do now? If there's something that your brother's offended you, and it's burning you up, okay? The Bible does say go to your brother, not in a public setting, okay? The Thanksgiving meal is not the time to go to your brother about the offense, okay? But you do talk to them in love for the spirit of restoration, not, hey, I'm trying to do this. Now, if you've had that conversation, and then 3 years later, it's like, you know what? I don't think you really paid me enough for that. I want to bring that up again. That's just separating friendships, okay? But let's seek love. And when you're having those conversations, when you do need to, which we do need to, okay? Ignoring the offense is not the covering that we're talking about, okay? It's, I'm going to pay for it. I'm going to meet with you, though, and we'll talk about this. And while I'm meeting, I'm covering that offense. And then, hey, this is done. This is covered. I'm never bringing this up again. When you say those words, I forgive you, that's saying I forever relinquish the right to bring this up. Period. Okay? I've relinquished that right. And if I bring that up, I'm violating something. I don't have the right to bring that up again because I said I forgave. Okay? That's what forgiveness is. And so, are we seeking love? Forgiveness comes with love. Bringing things up comes with breaking of relationships. Okay? Verse 10. A reproof entereth more into a wise man than 100 stripes into a fool. Okay? Receiving reproof goes with wisdom. Okay? Resisting reproof or correction, even if it's with stripes, that goes with foolishness. Okay? There's a lot of other places where it talks about that, but it's just these things these go together. If I want wisdom, I need to receive that reproof. Okay? When the person comes to me, I'm not going to say, hey, you know what, I'm going to fight you here. No, I'm going to just receive that reproof. Okay? I'm not going to say we need to separate friendships over this. I'm going to say, well, you should have covered this transaction. If you really wanted love, you wouldn't have brought this up. No, we're not going to do that. We had the discussion around the table today of whether it was appropriate when somebody corrects you on something to bring up the verse to them from Matthew 5 that you're supposed to check your own eye before you check your brother's eye. If someone corrects you, should you be quoting that verse to them? It's like, well, you shouldn't have corrected me because you need to check your own eye first. Like, no, that's definitely not time to say that verse, okay? That means you absolutely know something in you because he just told you about the thing in you, and now you're trying to correct something in him, and you haven't corrected the things. You're violating that verse by quoting that verse. Did you realize you can violate a verse by quoting it? You can actually do that. In that case, you would be violating that verse by trying to quote it back as an argument against the correction that your brother gave you. Okay? But receiving reproof means, hey, I'm just going to listen to that. I'm going to take care of that. Okay? That brings wisdom. That's the package deal. Okay? I want to be wise, but I don't want to ever have to listen to someone. I want to be so wise that I never have to listen to reproof again. Not going to happen. Those are package deals. Wisdom comes with the receiving reproof. Okay? I guess you could say here, foolishness comes with hundreds of stripes. You're going to be reproved again and again and again and again and again, and you're not going to get it. That's what foolishness has. Okay? When we're getting a correction or giving a correction. Yeah? Right. Are we covering a transgression because we're seeking love? Could I be covering a transgression because I'm seeking a favor? Am I covering this transgression so that I can have something to hold over their head and blackmail them with later? That's not seeking love. Motive is a huge thing. Okay, I want to receive this reproof. Okay, no reproof is ever fun. Oh, I want to be reproved. Nobody says that. But appreciating the reproof when it does come, saying this can make me wiser, okay? That's the package deal. It has to come with that, okay? And wise people understand that is a package deal. I really do want wisdom. It's better than rubies. It's better than all those things. With all they're getting, get wisdom. But in order to get wisdom, I have to receive the correction, the reproof. I don't want that, but that's the path to get wisdom. Okay? Whereas the foolish person says, I'm not going to go with our reproof, so whatever the consolation prize is for not listening to reproof, what am I going to get from that? Oh, foolishness? Well, okay, we'll go with that foolishness. Okay? Yeah, I've got enough wisdom. I don't need any more. It's just what you get. Verse 11. Here's another package deal. An evil man seeketh only rebellion, therefore a cruel messenger shall be sent against him. Okay? This one, you can almost say there's two different ones in here, or you can put it all together in one. Evil goes with rebellion. Those two go together. But if you have that package deal, evil and rebellion, okay, there's something else that's going to come. You get this. But wait, there's more. Not only can you have rebellion with your evil heart, but you will receive your very own cruel messenger coming to you. Will be sent unto you a cruel messenger. Okay? What form is that cruel messenger? Well, the cruel messenger may have flashing lights on their car. The cruel messenger may be a doctor. The cruel messenger may be principal at school. Maybe your boss. Maybe a spouse. Hopefully not. The bank. Ooh. Hey, we're here for... It could be an IRS agent. Okay? There are a lot of cruel messengers out there to be sent against you. And if you've got this idea that, hey, you know what? I like this package deal over here. It's got evil and rebellion. This sounds like the stuff. I mean, all the teenagers are going for this package right here. They're all doing it. I want this, okay? Well, with that comes a lifetime supply of cruel messengers, okay? As long as you're going to hold on to that, you're going to get those cruel messengers, okay? Now, does this say that if you're doing what's right, you'll never get a cruel messenger? We'll get some cruel messengers. There's plenty of them out there, okay? They can come to the wrong address occasionally. Or occasionally, do we ever have evil or rebellious thoughts, okay? Well, sometimes we need those cruel messengers. Okay, that's the reproof part there. Okay, if we listen to the reproof of the cruel messenger, now if we listen early, the messengers aren't as cruel. Okay, notice it said reproof entereth into the heart of the wise man more than 100 stripes into the back of a fool. Okay, when they're doing stripes, okay, you know, they talk about corporal punishment, getting that out of homes, saying you can't spank your kids. Corporal punishment was a civil thing where the judge could say you are sentenced to 15 stripes in the center town hall. And that used to be a U.S. thing, okay? Misdemeanors, small things, public drunkenness. Okay, well, you're going into the stocks, man. Okay? You're going to be tied to a stake and beat. Okay? Let's see if you want to go get drunk and drive your cart around town again. Okay? You're going to learn from this as an adult. Okay? Now, say that's pretty cruel. Okay? Well, that's what happens. Now it's, you know, you've got jail time. You lose your driving privileges. I mean, there's other things that hurt that you can have. But if we want to choose that path, we're going to have that cruel messenger come to us. Okay? And it's always there. It's a package deal. Wise people understand. Hey, if I want to have that package, I got to get the whole package. I can't leave out the cruel messenger. Okay? Verse 12. Let a bear robbed of her whelps meet a man rather than a fool in his folly. Okay? So a mama bear that doesn't have her cubs. Okay? This is not something you want to mess with. All right? Okay? It means, the simple one-word description of that is destruction. Okay? Pain. Death. Okay? That's what's going to come there. Right? But yet that destruction is not as bad as meeting a fool in their folly. Okay, I was trying to look up the definition of folly, and the first two definitions were foolishness. But basically, in their folly means while they're doing their foolish thing, okay? When a fool is doing their foolish thing that they're going to do, they are much more dangerous to be around than a bear robbed of her whelps, okay? The package deal here is foolishness comes with destruction, okay? Wherever you're going to go, destruction is going to follow. Now, fools in their folly, it's going to destroy themselves and everyone around them. And it's like, hey, you don't want to be around that. It's saying, I mean, we want to go out and try to reach the world, but when we meet a fool in their folly, that's not the time you want to be around them, okay? Now, it's tough because sometimes we see and we want to try to rescue them out of their folly, but, I mean, how much can we do that? If you see someone who's totally drunk and inebriated, is that a time that you can really go in there and witness to them very well? Now, there are some things you could probably do. If they're a public danger to themselves, you can get that cruel messenger to go there and have them dry out in the county lockup. You can, there's some things we can do to try to help them with that, but if they're in the middle of their folly, that's why it says, answer not a fool according to his folly, lest thou be likened to him. Answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own conceit. Elsewhere in Proverbs, it has that thing there. But if they're like right in the middle of their folly, and you're trying to take care of them during that, you're just walking into destruction. Okay? That's probably not. I mean, you want to help them, we want to witness to people, but I've given great gospel presentations to people who were totally drunk, and I don't know that much of that sank in. It's just come back when they're sober, okay? When there's not destruction. Now, fortunately, they weren't violent at the time, but when you're someone and maybe their foolishness is they're angry, they're yelling, they're being violent. It's like, I don't want to be around them at that time, okay? They're being foolish with their vehicle. Get as far away as you can. You can report it in and just say, hey, police, watch out. There's a public menace over there. But destruction is going to come with foolishness. That's what comes along with there. I don't know how many more of these I'm going to be able to cover, but I definitely want to look at these next two. Verse 13, whoso rewardeth evil for good. Okay? So they're doing good to me, and I'm going to do something bad to them. Okay, that's the choice that people make. Okay, anyone ever seen that happen? Had that happen to yourself? Hopefully not done it, but probably we all have to some extent at some point in our life. Okay, whoso rewardeth evil for good, evil shall not depart from his house. Whoso rewardeth evil for good, evil shall not depart out of his house, from his house. If you are wanting to do evil to people who are doing good to you, you're going to have evil come to you. Not just to you personally, your house. Okay, and that's not talking about, oh no, it's a haunted house. No, that's your family. So, hey, I did this to that other coworker at work, and you know what? They were helping me get this report done, and I saw this other presentation that they had, and I just kind of snagged it from the desk, and I put my name on it, and I went there, and I got the promotion, and they got laid off. Okay? Yeah, man, I got it. And then I got the call from the hospital that my son just died in a car wreck. Whoso rewardeth evil for good, evil shall not depart out of their house. Whoso rewardeth. I was doing a little word study on the if, because a lot of these have if, covereth, separateth, rewardeth, entereth, and if it's a present tense thing, saying that they are doing it right now. Okay, if you're making the choice to reward evil for good, you're making that choice to invite evil permanently into your household. Now, I mean, there's other places where it says, he visiteth the transgressions of the fathers unto on the children of the third and fourth generation. That's tough. Now, is God merciful? Can we ask God for forgiveness? Can we ask God to the righteous to life eternal? We can, and God does forgive things. Now, sometimes the consequences of our actions will still have consequences in our families here on earth. God is gracious. God does forgive. I mean, one of the biggest examples here, this is being written by Solomon, and maybe he's thinking about his dad. Okay? Uriah was one of his most faithful servants. He sent Uriah to carry his own sentence out to the general. Okay? While David was stealing his wife. All right. Now, what happened to the household of David because of that? How many of his children died because of that? How many wars continued in Solomon's time, past Solomon's time? How many times was that visited again and again and again? It's his house, and again, it's bringing in trouble and rewarding evil for good. That's a pretty big slap in God's face. Okay, that's not a oops. Did I accidentally do that? That's a pretty serious thing. They're doing good, and you're going to give them evil for that. God's going to judge it, and it's gonna have collateral damage to those we love. I mean, if that's your general habit, then I think you're just going to be constantly inviting evil to come in again. Again, I think this is a decision. You've done this. You do this. You've got something coming. You do it again, you got more coming. You do it again, you have even more. If this is something you're doing every single day, every day you're asking for more evil to come into your house. So if it is a mindset, you're going to have a lot more. And it's each time, though, it's evil's not departing from your house. You're just compounding what's going to compound in your house. Now, is God's grace where sin did abound? Grace did much more abound. God can restore families that have had generations of built up, and this generation added a ton, and then this generation added more, and you just got all these sins of the fathers from 8 generations stacked up each other, multiplied each other, come to visit it upon the children, and that child gets on their knees before God and says, God, have mercy on me and my children after, and God says, you're mine. You've got a new name. I'm going to use you, I'm going to use your children to live for me. God can do that. He has done that throughout history. We can see it again and again and again. So God can forgive that. God can clean that. But I think each action that we choose to do to reward evil for good is going to invite more permanent evil into our house. Those things that, hey, this is permanent. Okay? It's like, hey, I want to get a tattoo across my face. Well, that's there. Man, I shouldn't have gotten drunk and gone to a tattoo parlor. Then the next week, I got drunk and I went there again, and now I got one. I went, okay, that's there. Certain drugs that you use, they can do permanent damage the first time you use them, every time you use them. Okay, fentanyl. Why don't they just do like, hey, want some kicks? Let's do some amputations. Yeah, man, cut my hand off. Okay, that's less damaging than the fentanyl. Okay, but each time we make that bad of a decision, we're inviting permanent stuff. I wanted to look at the last verse here. The beginning of strife is as when one letteth out water. Therefore, leave off contention before it be meddled with. Okay, letting off water. Best I can tell, that's saying when someone's water breaks. Okay? That starts a process that you can't just, let's pause that for a bit. I'm not ready for that. No, if your water breaks, that baby's coming. Okay? The beginning of strife is like that. Okay? You just barely starting the strife. It's like, you know what? I don't really have a big knockdown, drag out Thanksgiving this year. But come on, I've got to rub it in just a little bit. Let me just meddle with the stripe just a little bit. Boom! Oh shoot, this is a mess. We can't really go back on this one. Can we just can we close Pandora's box a little? You can't do that. Okay? They can't just a little bit water break. Okay? When the baby's coming, the baby's coming. It's there. And you've got to go through the whole process. And it says, hey, leave off contention before it be meddled with. It's like, oh, come on, we're waiting for the meal. We still got 30 minutes before the meal. We can have a little bit of a friendly debate and argument. No, don't. Okay? Just say, you know what? I'm not gonna even dabble with contention here. I'm just gonna say, you know what? I'm going to cover that transgression. I want love here. I'm not going to try to make this fight. Okay? If you want to dabble with contention, you're getting the fire hose. You're getting all of it. Okay? You can't just have a little bit of it. Right? Because it's like, I mean, what is another verse? Behold how great a matter a little fire kindleth. I'm just going to make a little spark here in the middle of the forest. I mean, I don't want to like forest fire. I just got a little firecracker and I got one match. This is gonna be fun. Ooh. Pow! Ouch! I mean, little things. Okay, one little match kid's playing with and huge forest fire. Okay, I'm just gonna a little bit of contention. I just had to say that one last word. How many times, I mean, in our lives, and be honest here, if you could have avoided saying just one word, would that have made things a little different? Okay?
2 words.
Okay, 2 words?
I do.
Oh. Okay, it's just the leaving off contention here. You see what I mean? About the leave off contention before it be meddled with. Okay? All right. No, that's, yes. But it is a perfect example, okay? And we need to recognize there's some things, you can't just have a little of this without getting all of it, okay? You can't have a little contention, all right? Just a little bit of friendly, no, there's not a little bit of friendly contention, okay? Go play basketball with relatives, play a board game if you can't move around. Do something, okay? Other than, hey, can we argue over something? Watch a football game, all right? Don't watch the Vikings. Okay, well, depending on which teams you cheer for, maybe that was your worst contention anyway. Wise people recognize there are package deals in life, okay? You can't bring up the old transgression and not break friendships, okay? You can't hang around with a fool and not have destruction, okay? You can't have fun being evil and rebellious and not expect to have somebody catch you on it, okay? It's going to happen. Covering transgression, seeking love. Okay, that sounds fun. I'll come over in a Packers jersey. No. I don't know. But understand. Don't think you're going to be the one exception who I can be evil and no one's ever going to catch me. If I say a few words, it's not going to cause a problem at the reunion. But if Uncle Bill does, no, okay. Don't think you're the exception. There are package deals in life, and wise people understand that. Let's pray. Dear Lord, I thank you for your goodness and your grace. I pray that you'd help us in these matters and in all matters, Lord, that you have clearly laid out in your word that there are definite consequences for our actions, that we would be wise enough to remember those. And, Lord, that we would choose to seek love as you chose to seek our love. And you began that by covering all of our transgressions and forgiving us of all of our iniquities. Lord, may we show that same love to others. I pray as we get in a season where a lot of family reunions happening and getting together with friends, Lord, may we be the ones who are seeking love, who are covering transgressions, who are the peacemakers, and may you be glorified by it. I pray you be with each one of us, and all of us have experienced these things. I've seen these things happen to us, and I just pray that we would grow, that we would be the ones willing to listen to the rebuke and being wise from it. And I pray you get the glory for it. Be with us as we go today. In Jesus' name, amen. Right. You are dismissed.